The last journey. The bus engine roared in the early morning darkness, waking the sleepy passengers who had barely settled into their seats. The driver, a man with a stony face and unfathomable gaze, adjusted the mirrors and started the vehicle. No one knew his name, nor the destination of the trip. They only knew that they should get on, let themselves go, and face whatever came. The road wound between mountains shrouded in thick fog. Outside, the world seemed to fade into shadows, as if the bus were traveling into the void. Inside, the atmosphere was thick and heavy. Furtive glances passed among the passengers, all strangers to one another, united only by uncertainty and the monotonous echo of the engine. An elderly woman, frowning, clutched her bag suspiciously. Near her, a young man in shabby clothes restlessly drummed his fingers on the back of the seat. Further back, a couple exchanged tense whispers, while a man in a suit looked impatiently at his watch. Each of them carried more than suitcases. They carried secrets, fears, and prejudices that would soon be exposed. The first few hours passed in silence, but the journey soon took a disturbing turn. The road disappeared under a thick mist, and when they finally emerged, the landscape had changed. It wasn't the world they knew. The trees seemed twisted, the mountains too sharp, the sky darker than it should be. The driver continued without hesitation, as if he had traveled this road many times before. The first incident occurred when the man in a suit stood up and demanded answers. He wanted to know where they were going, why they hadn't made any stops, why the phone signal had disappeared. His voice was raised, but no one answered. Only the driver watched him through the rearview mirror, as expressionless as ever. Suddenly, a pothole jolted the bus, and the man fell backward, hitting his head on a seat. When he got back up, something in him had changed. His arrogance had evaporated. His eyes reflected a childlike fear. One by one, the passengers began to experience their own revelations. The older woman saw the image of her deceased husband reflected in the window, accusing her with a look that made her shudder. The restless young man felt the shadows around him take shape and whisper words he thought he'd forgotten. The couple found themselves trapped in a loop of pointless arguments, reviving buried grudges. The journey was taking them not only to a physical destination but to an inescapable confrontation with their own demons. The bus kept moving. There were no stops, no sign of other traffic, and no way back. Outside, the world distorted as if they were traveling through a fever dream. The passengers, increasingly desperate, tried to open the doors, break the windows, and call for help. But all efforts were in vain. Only when they stopped resisting, when they began to look at each other with true attention, did they understand the nature of their journey. One by one, they faced their fears. The man in the suit embraced his newfound humility. The old woman allowed herself to cry for the first time in years. The young man stopped running from the ghosts of his past. The couple looked at each other sincerely and understood how much they still loved each other. At the back of the bus, a boy no one had noticed before smiled, as if he had been waiting for this moment. Finally, the driver stopped the vehicle. The doors opened with a soft whisper. Outside, the mist dissipated, and a golden sunrise illuminated a serene and unfamiliar landscape. Without needing any instructions, the passengers disembarked, feeling the ground beneath their feet as if stepping into a new reality. They didn't know where they were, but it didn't matter. They had changed. And in that change, they had found their true destiny. The bus started moving again, taking the driver and the child in the back row with it. As the vehicle disappeared into the distance, the passengers knew they would never be the same again.